Hello everybody, my name is Keener and welcome back to another episode where I will be talking about characters I would love to see in Marvel vs. Capcom Infinite. This is strictly my opinion and no outside force. Don't get too hate on me. I'm not saying that my opinion is better than yours. I'm just saying I would like to see these characters in the game, and I'm going to be focusing on the Capcom side today. So, I'm planning to make the Marvel side tomorrow, or tomorrow night. It's about 10:48 p.m. and I'm a little tired, so I'm channeling my inner insomniac, I guess. I don't know. Take it how you will. Okay, so first up on my list, I would say Gutsman should be in Marvel vs. Capcom Infinite for my first choice. Why is that? Well, I would say this because he's definitely one of the earliest characters, and he's more of a brute character, which I feel like we need more brute-like characters in Marvel vs. Capcom, because there's only really, Hulk and Sentinel that have, emerged to, be the big, brutish characters. And for his role in the story, we could definitely see him fighting alongside Nemesis as a reprogrammed robot for the sole purpose of destroying Mega Man and Zero. He team up with Gutsman and Nemesis versus Chris Redfield and X would be a pretty cool matchup, if I do say so myself. And for his moveset, we could definitely input some of his Mega Man powered up abilities into his moves list. Definitely him throwing boulders or just giant chunks of rock at the enemy, and definitely he could possibly tired. Now, he could definitely drill underground and all that kind of stuff. There's definitely plenty of special potential with his digging abilities and his sort of giant drill that he takes out of Mega Man powered up. Plus your ability to play as Gutsman in Mega Man powered up gives this character more exposure, and I definitely think he should be in the next Marvel vs. Capcom game. And for my next character, I have Asura from Asura's Wrath. So, everyone likes this character. Everyone wants this person to be in Marvel vs. Capcom Infinite. He is a definite fan favorite, but I feel like Marvel vs. Capcom Infinite hasn't invited him to the roster because he is freaking overpowered. He freaking destroyed a he freaking destroyed a god just by punching their Earth-sized finger. So yeah, that's kind of why they haven't included him. But I could definitely see this dude kicking major butt in the next game. And for the story, maybe it's maybe it's I don't know, August teaming up with the bad guys because he was promised a really cool fight and he wants to protect his family and everyone else, so he goes and eats them and teams up with the heroes. I don't know. He's basically an anime character, so plot can go anywhere with him. Next up, we have Yellow Devil from Mega Man. And be prepared because there's a lot of Mega Man characters on this list. Completely coincidental. Like, Mega Man isn't one of my top 5 games. Just sorry if I offended any Mega Man fans. I should probably just get to the reasons why. Yellow Devil should be like a Sentinel type character. He's this huge, large Goliath of a character, and he just appears to be some like mindless drone. Sorry, excuse me. And when they made Sentinel a like Transformer type character, that could totally work for Yellow Devil, because he already is like this huge, gigantic blob transformer thing. So he can definitely just like do whatever he wants. His move style is completely like flexible, just like a giant cross screen punch, throwing big slabs of himself at the enemies. One of his supers could be him using his like little dot pellet things, teleporting across the area. I don't know, it's just a really neat idea. And for him being in the main plot of things, it could be just like he was a test experiment to like help the bad guys. And again, this probably would make more sense. Nemesis from Resident Evil and Yellow Devil from Mega Man versus Chris Redfield and X. That would be so amazing, and I think a lot of you would agree. Next up, another Mega Man character, Bass. We all know him. We semi-hate, semi-love. Bass is just the cool-headed, cool kid at the freaking school. I don't know where I'm going with this analogy. He is basically just there to destroy Mega Man, but now it's just X and Zero. So in the main thick of things, he could be in like a isolation chamber, and he like awakes from it, knowing, and the villains tell him that like Mega Man and Pearl Man and all of them are dead, but there is a successor, so he wants to destroy their successor since they are the better versions of the characters that he so despises. And we can get a very, very obvious moveset from him being like in the thick of things in some of the games, with him getting some ability chips like Mega Man, like Zero, like Proto Man, like all of them. And we can definitely have Treble, his dog companion, like his version of Rush. We can very obviously make his transformation with Trouble. If you don't know what I'm talking about, you are so completely lost. Personally, I would suggest you guys look it up as I'm saying the characters, because this can be a bit confusing. Anyways, back to the topic. Sorry if I keep like pausing. My mouth is like really dry for some reason. In fact, one moment, I'm gonna go get a drink. Back in what seems like a second to you guys, but like 5 seconds to me. Anyways, okay. Sorry. What? That was a flop. Okay, with my sleepiness and dry mouth being a problem, I'm gonna continue because I need the views. Okay, I'm not that kind of person. Let's just continue because I don't know what I'm doing with my life. Anyways, with the like transformation that Trouble and Bass does, it could be a very obvious super for Capcom and Marvel to do in their next upcoming Marvel vs. Capcom game. And definitely a lot of like chip abilities like Flame, Ice, bunch of elemental stuff, plus just the main charge blaster. He could use Trouble to fly around at high speeds. So much they could do with this character if they actually do put him in, and I'm really hoping they do. Next on the list is Leon from Resident Evil. But mainly Resident Evil 4. Leon has always been that character that hasn't really got a lot of sunlight. It's kind of the main point in Resident Evil games because it's all dark and it's a horror, and they're pretty much horror games. And what am I doing with my life? Okay, back and after contemplating my entire life. Anyways, let's keep going. Leon has never gotten really like that much exposure. Him being replaced with Chris Redfield in the last Marvel vs. Capcom game, we could very clearly see that in the trailers that like the Resident Evil 4 cult is back, and we could definitely put Leon in there. Obviously, knowing a lot about the cult, since he was like assigned to protect the president's daughter from them and all that. And remember, this is all being in one take, so any mistakes are gonna be left in. And someone say that he would be a Chris Redfield clone. I would not think so, because if they like put in different weapons, like a different style to use him in, it would be a very complex and diverse music. Like maybe we should give like Leon a more flexible ability and Chris Redfield a more direct and offensive attack style. That would probably work best for their like characters and how they would play out. Just my personal ideas. So let's get into the next character. We got Dhalsim from Street Fighter. Dhalsim would be a very hectic kind of character in the midst of this kind of stuff. He really wouldn't be in much of a situation where he'd be a main supporter. He'd probably just be like with Mike Hagar and just wanting to save the day. But he could definitely give like a bunch of He could definitely give a lot of insight to the characters, like inspiration, wisdom, and all that stuff. Seeing as he is a firm believer in Buddhism, even though he is a very fighting game character. And he could use a lot of... Plus, he already has his moveset. Just to make a few switches and swaps and like maybe a different style, and we would just have doll sim package and ready to go for Capcom versus Street Fighter. He already has a moveset. He has plenty of movesets actually, since he has appeared in like the his first appearance was in the second game, so yeah, he's been throughout the entire game series. It would be a very fitting role for the guy to like try and save the world, because he just is kind of that guy that wants to try and help no matter. Sorry, my glasses seem tilted. No matter what. So yeah, and next we also have cannot speak today or tonight. We have Nikali from Street Fighter, and I think Nikali would fit in because he's just kind of that dark, evil, kind of bad guy being that's just there to cause havoc and kill people. And that would totally work for this kind of story, since we have Jeddah and like the Resident Evil 4 Cold. So just have like one of them summon Callie for the cast to fight, and so like rocking my votes. Anyways, we could. Why am I keep doing this? I don't know. What am I doing with my life? Yeah. If I could edit, I would cut all this out. So let's just keep going. Nikali would just have one of them summon this evil being of mass mayhem, and he's only appeared in one game, so this would give him more exposure and like sunlight for the character to shine and get a better view with fans of the Street Fighter. Street Fighter and Marvel vs. Capcom, and just overall fans of these kind of characters. So he could appear in more games as a more canon character. And I would just, and he's already been in a fighting game, so his moveset is like already ready to go. And we could give him like a better moveset, like show off more of what he can actually do as a character. Just my personal opinion. And so let's go. Next we have from the Devil May Cry series, Lady. Not kidding. That's your joke if you've seen certain Devil May Cry games. I've only seen the first game she appeared in. What is up when my voice cracks? The first game she appeared in, I believe, was Devil May Cry 4. We got the character called Lady. I don't know if that's her actual name, but she tells Dante to call her Lady, and that's what's said on her. When I was looking up Capcom characters, that's what's said about her and her name. So let's just move on. Well, her being in a Devil May Cry video game, we can already see how much potential she has, and her being alongside Dante in a Devil May Cry kind of situation where there's demons and monsters running around and rampant, killing everybody. It would definitely be a better setup. A better setup for them to like gain more of a character connection, and back to her being in the Devil May Cry game, and her being a actual character. We have seen how powerful she is, how she could maneuver around the enemies and use her freaking cannon backpack thing to destroy loads of enemies. So it would be a very easy moveset. Plus Dante has used plus she gave Dante her weapon, so Dante so that you have a more experienced view of okay, 1 minute. A more experienced view of her weapon and what she could be able to do with it. So I do believe she has a chance to be in a Marvel vs. Capcom game. And her basis in the plot is she has seen all this monster rampant stuff before. She just wants to save the day and stuff. That's really all we need. And so next we have Dr. Wily from the Mega Man game. And those of you that have heard of this character, my neck's really itchy for some reason. And those of you that have heard of Dr. Wily might be thinking, what are you talking about? He's just an old crazy guy that invents things. But that is the key point. He invents things, so he could be like a sort of summoner character, like Jin from the second Marvel vs. Capcom game, where he just summons all these different creations of his, and how he uses his giant robot with spiky fists to come down. In fact, that could be an actual ability of his. Take it from Jin and just have the giant spiky fist come at him. Or his weird loud doom buggy flying pea pod machine thing coming to zoom at the enemies or make a ear piercing sound that annoys them or shatters their earbuds. Could kind of be an in-joke. He could also summon a bunch of different robot masters, like Shadow Man, Quake Man, Metal Man, and his specials could definitely be a transition sort of thing, like Captain Falcons, or someone else that has a transition in Marvel vs. Capcom games, where he's just where one of the robot masters attacks, then it just isn't an all-out strike with other robot masters attacking them. It could be a very interesting character concept. It would give the character more of an identity than just a inventor, evil person that wants to take over the world. And speaking of taking over the world, nice transition into his basis or plot in the story. He is Dr. Wily. He just wants to cause mayhem and take over the world. So the evil guys could give him an offer that he could have part of a world or stuff, or maybe he would betray them because he's a jerk and just wants all of the world. So he takes up the offer to join them and destroy the heroes. And for our last, and certainly not least, option for the Marvel vs. Capcom Infinite characters, we have Ken Masters from Street Fighter. And this kind of goes into the heroes plot of the section. And judging from, and actually just from the trailers, we know that's going to be sorry, just getting really hyped about this idea. We can obviously see that it's another Captain America versus Iron Man thing where Captain America wants to free Thanos to defeat the bad guys, but Iron Man doesn't want to, and he thinks Thanos is too much of a threat. So we would see Ryu side with Captain America because he wants to save the day, but Ken Masters sides with Iron Man because he has a family to protect and he doesn't want that much of a risk. So you could definitely give Ken Masters more of a personality than just cocky, cool-headed, street-fighting dude. And give a more dynamic into, like, the rivalry of Ryu and Ken and how they're not always friends. They could be on opposite sides. Plus, it would fit into Iron Man, Ken, Ryu, and Captain America's personality, seeing as Captain America is more of the cool-headed, thinking type, and Ryu is kind of like the strong, silent type that wants to do the right thing. And Iron Man is a rich, cocky entrepreneur that kicks butt, and Ken Masters is a rich, cocky street fighter that kicks lots of butt. Definite personality, like, definite character, I don't know what I'm saying, definite character development, and, like, how their teams match up. Plus, he already has this new moveset, like I've said, with plenty of other characters. He is from a fighting game. And I think that about wraps it up. And if I inspire one of the characters for Marvel vs. Capcom Infinite, I would be so happy. Like anyone else. My voice is really squeaky. But, yeah. Anyways, that's all for now. And remember to stay... Camera fail. Remember to stay nerdy.